Welcome back to another episode of Scott's Quick Cash Class. And today we're going to talk to you about how to retire, right? So, we've been talking a few different things, for you guys that are 18, 19, 20, 21, just out of school. We've been talking to you guys about different financial topics and, how to save, how to budget, how to buy a car, different negotiatings. Today we're going to talk about cash flow versus net worth and which one's more important and what do they mean. So you've heard probably people talk about being financially free, right? And they're not relying on a job. They have their own income, and this can be from a few different things. But the biggest thing and the trick, the key, if you listen to nothing else, or what I say in this episode, is cash flow. You need cash flow. And that's how much money you have coming in every month if you do nothing, right? We call that passive cash flow, okay? So the goal is to get enough money coming in each month that is more than your bills so that you then don't have to go to work, hear somebody's BS, this, that, and the other, right? It gives you options. So building up that passive cash flow is huge. Now, we also have talked about net worth, and what that is when you add up all of your assets, your house, your stock, rental properties, businesses you own, mutual funds, all those things, CDs, when you add them all up, and then whatever their value is, you minus how much you owe on all those things and all your other liabilities like credit cards, medical debt, car loans, all those things you add up. When you subtract that from there, whatever that number is left, that's your net worth, right? And the goal, everyone wants to be a millionaire and get to that $1 million net worth. When I was younger, it used to mean a lot more. $1 million isn't quite what it was. I think the last time I checked, about 1 in 14 people in the United States are millionaires. So that's not too bad, right? I think that's roughly top 7%, roughly. My math might be a little off, but if you want to get to a millionaire, that's what you have to do. You have to have $1 million net worth. Now that sounds really cool, like, hey, I'm a millionaire, but if you still have to go to work every day because you're not in control of your time, because that's what all this is about, is how do I get more time back to use how I want versus how somebody else wants me to use time. Because if I'm like you guys, I don't like having my time dictated to me, whether it's my boss, my kids, my wife, that's part of the deal. But when you have your time dictated to you, it's really frustrating. But when you have money in the bank, now that doesn't get rid of all your obligations, but when you have money in the bank, you have freedom and choices, right? So that's what this is all about. So how do we get cash flow, and why is it so important? Well, the median net worth for people under 35 is only $39,000. That is not a very large net worth. No one's going to retire on that. That barely gets you through. It might not even get you through a year of bills, right? So you got to ask yourself, if I'm 35 years old and I only have maybe 1 year's salary or 1.5 years salary, how is that going to give me cash flow in the future, right? Because you need to think about things that are going to put money in your pocket every month. Because the last thing you want to do is have a big net worth, like maybe it's $3 or $4 million net worth, but it's not bringing you in any money. It's just sitting there, right? So that's not good. So you want to start early when you're young. You want to start investing into things that are going to give you that passive income, that cash flow each month, because when you do that, as you get older, you don't have to rely as much on your income because you have more passive income coming in. Now, what's good news is if your income starts going up and you have that passive income, you can take that passive income and then reinvest it to get even more passive income. So don't think about in terms of, hey, I need to get as much money saved as possible. That is one goal that you have to do through investing, but you also have to think of that cash flow down the road, because when you want to retire, or let's just say you want to take a couple months off because maybe you're in between jobs, well, it would be nice to have some money coming in. And even if it doesn't cover 100% of your bills, if you have some money coming in to help absorb some of that, and then maybe you take it easy a couple months before you actually start your next job, whatever that situation is, if you have cash flow, it opens up opportunities. You don't have to take that first job that comes by. You can be a little bit more picky. So that's why cash flow is important. Yes, having a savings and investing is important, but that monthly cash flow is really, truly what's going to let you be free and give you that freedom to wait a little bit longer, maybe to take that job, or give you more options on different vacations and things you want to do. So you want to roughly put about 20% of your current paycheck into investments, okay? And I know that's challenging, and if you can't do 20, start at 5, get up to 10, go 15, then 20, but you want to get that. And I challenge you to look for things that are going to pay a dividend, or something that's going to give you a monthly passive cash flow. That can be anything from real estate to certain dividend stocks, and that's another episode we can talk about. But you definitely want to make sure you're finding some sort of investment that's going to continue to give you cash flow, right? So I'm going to leave you with the question of the day, tip of the day. Hopefully you guys learned something new today. Question of the day: if your income stopped tomorrow, how many months could you live without working? And I want you to be honest with yourself, right? And that could include, cashing out a CD, or, your 401k, any type of money that you have saved up. If you quit getting paid, how long could you maintain the same standard of living that you have now? And that includes, you can sell your stuff to get there, but how long? For most people, they can't go longer than a month before they'd be in real trouble. So think about that. And then tip of the day: cash flow buys freedom, net worth buys bragging rights. So, if you have plenty of cash flow coming in, it honestly really doesn't matter if your net worth is 0. If you've got 20 grand a month coming in, you can keep paying and keep living, and you'll be just fine. So cash flow is king. Remember, you need cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Hopefully you learned something new. If you liked what you heard, give us a like. If you have some questions, give us a comment. We're always looking for new questions of the day and new topics to talk about. So make sure you let us know. And every day we're bringing you 5, 6, 7-minute videos to help you with your financial literacy. If it's something that you'd like, make sure you subscribe. And once again, never going to sell you anything. We're just here to help. Till next time.